Okay, we're live. Welcome to another edition of Winning Wednesday. Super pumped to be here. This is Sonia
Jeannie, hi.
and we are just so excited about this topic. And yeah, I mean, it's something that, and I should say before we get into this topic, this is not medical advice. Neither Jeannie or I are doctors. I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and certified diabetes educator. And Jeannie, what are your exact
Yeah,
long
and I'm an exercise physiologist and a national board certified health and wellness coach.
See, that's a lot to say.
Yes, it is.
Nonetheless, we have done the research and done the homework and been the guinea pigs. As I always like to say, I donate my body to science while I'm alive. In other words, what does that mean? I like to try new things. And,
Mhm.
there are a lot of people that wait and they wait for evidence and for things to be perfect. But I look at it as this: if there's something that has substantial research behind it, why not try to optimize your health? And so that's what we're going to get into talking about today. So we're live all over the place, with the exception of a couple of Facebook groups, which I didn't have time to study the changes with StreamYard. So we will share this into a couple of groups. That being said, if you are here live, let us know where you're watching from. Are you on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube? Where are you watching from? And if you're going to catch this on the replay, if you would drop the time in the comments so we know what time you're here, and also say hello. And I would love to know from all of you guys, what do you know about biohacking? Question of the day: what does that word mean to you? So drop it in the comments below. And I think we're going to have some really good discussion around that. So let me throw that question to you, Jeannie. What's biohacking mean to you?
Biohacking is finding ways to increase longevity and to look and feel younger as long as we can. That's what it is to me. It's anti-aging.
Absolutely. Or like health optimization. That's like the one word that comes to me, because
Mhm.
you can do a lot of things to be healthy. You can eat all your fruits and vegetables, you can exercise, go to the gym, you can avoid smoking, you can de-stress as much as possible, clean water, clean air, all of those things, avoid toxins and, chemicals and all those things in your life. So that's, a really good foundation for being healthy. But then there are a lot of tools, tips, tricks, hacks, right?
Mhm.
Biohack, right? Hacking biology is really what it is, right? So if you look at biological age, it can be very different than chronological age,
Mhm.
right? So really what we're talking about are some things that we do, and there are many other things, because we'd keep you here all day and this might end up being a multiple part series, because there are lots of different things that you can do to biohack your health and optimize your health so that the quality of your life is much better. That's how I look at it, right? And as
Mhm.
somebody that's dealt with mold toxicity and Epstein-Barr virus, a lot of this has, made me sort of a human guinea pig for a lot of different things. And I love it. There's some people
Yeah.
that are terrified to try new things, and I'm like, bring it on, right?
Mhm.
So talk to me, Jeannie, about some of the things that you love that you found through your research and or just personal use, different things that you use as biohacking
Yeah,
tools.
so one of the things that I started to really focus on is decreasing my stress
Mm,
because, my stress levels were really high a couple of years ago. Most of us deal with stressors like all the time. And it's really not about getting rid of the stressors. Some of it is actually good for us, but it's about how we manage it. And so that I've been diving deep into, like, because there is a correlation, a connection between stress and how we age, and people who are very highly stressed, their health is impacted and they have a shorter time that they live. So I wanted to find some hacks to decrease my stress. And of course, the regular stuff like good nutrition and meditation, self-care, like all those things really do make a difference. But I wanted even more things. And so one of the things that I started doing research on is, I don't know if you've ever heard of PEMF therapy.
Mhm.
Well, it means pulsed electromagnetic fields, and they actually have used this, and if you go to the NIH, there's studies on this. This is incredible. They actually have used this. They started out using it in NASA, and they found that it was very effective, and they rolled it now it's rolled out to the public. And the simple thing is you can get a mat. There's some other tools as well, but it works at a there's like currents that work with your body to help to reduce the stress levels in your body. It helps to improve sleep. There's like a numerous other things that it does, like sore muscles. So, like if you're working out, it helps with recovery, quicker recovery. So a lot of things that it helps with, and that's what I have been looking into lately. And it kind of like brought on this topic overall because then you look at the list of all the things you can biohack, and it's incredible. So
We
yeah,
could
that's
go
one of the
broke
things I
buying
look
all these
at.
things, right?
Isn't it wild?
Pull out your credit card. That's all I have to say, right? Gosh.
How about
Let
you,
me
Sonia? What's the one most recent thing that you started using that you were just blown away with what it does for you?
So, as I mentioned, and we'll go through kind of a list of what we're both doing, but there's one that's, kind of a hot topic on my list right now. And it was born out of necessity. If you guys have heard my story recently, I went through a battle and I'm on the healing side of it now, but went through a battle and am persevering through a battle. I'm conquering a battle with toxic mold. I was exposed to toxic mold unknowingly for many years. And for anybody that knows what happens with that, there are 37 official symptoms of mold illness. It's not mold allergy, it's mold illness. It's an inflammatory process that comes from just this, large influx of toxins that mold creates. And that's all for another day in talking about mold toxicity. However, one of the things that it does is across the board, if you meet anyone with mold toxicity, we tend to have different symptoms that are like the things that really have, essentially deflated our immune system, have deflated our energy. Some people, it's more neurological symptoms. For me, I had sinus stuff really bad.
Mm,
But I would say the one common thing is chronic fatigue. So you hear
mm,
people being diagnosed all the time with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. In my humble opinion, and again, this is not medical advice, but there's always an upstream cause
mm.
for those two things. You don't
Yeah,
just get labeled as chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia. I got given those diagnoses a number of years ago. And I was like, okay, yes, but that didn't just fall out of the sky. Why do I have this? Right.
right.
So
Yeah.
then, it took me a while to figure out I was exposed to toxic mold. So chronic fatigue, but also your mitochondria, which are the little powerhouse. If you guys remember like basic biology in the Krebs
Mhm.
cycle, you remember that, ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is responsible for, giving us energy. And our mitochondria are the powerhouse energy little, I like to think of them as like little energy blips within our
Mhm.
cells. Okay. So if you have mold toxicity, if you have any chronic illness, your mitochondrial health suffers and you have crappy energy. So
Mm.
all of the, things that I used to do, like extreme exercise, I used to do a lot of CrossFit and compete in fitness competitions. But all of that stuff now, if I was to go and try to do CrossFit, I'd be knocked out for a week.
Yeah.
So
I
you
f
have really
Yeah.
slow muscle recovery. You have
Mhm.
a lot of lactic acid buildup that just like doesn't disappear. And you have a lot of chronic inflammation. And so your cells become inflamed, everything becomes
Yeah.
inflamed. And so I've gone through a lot of things with this particular condition. We'll call it this condition that is passing through my body. I'm not claiming it, I'm not owning it, it's passing through.
Good.
Nonetheless, I've done injectable peptides. I did a thymine alpha 1 injectable peptide, and that was for a series of time to essentially stimulate my immune system because your immune function becomes compromised.
Mhm.
And so, anything that I could do to optimize my immune system. So I did that. I also took an oral peptide called BPC 150. So that's an oral form. There are many forms of peptides, and I'm not an expert in peptides,
Mhm.
but know that peptide therapy is being talked about a lot in
Mm.
terms of biohacking. So kind of wanted to rabbit trail there for a second, but the one that I've been really hot and heavy on recently is called methylene blue. And it's kind of interesting if you do the research. So this is a product that I'm using. It's by Transcriptions. It's called Just Blue, but there are a number of different kinds. It's really important if you're working with methylene blue to be working alongside a provider or somebody that is familiar with methylene blue, because you want it to be a pharmaceutical grade. It is technically a drug, but sold in small enough doses or micro doses, it's considered a supplement. So really the key is to find the optimal dose and to not cross that threshold of getting into the pharmaceutical range, because they actually use methylene blue in surgery. They use methylene blue if somebody has a if they overdose on cyanide, right? So there
Mm.
are true medical reasons to use it, but then there's also really cheap methylene blue that they
Mhm.
can use to clean fish tanks with. So
Ah, okay.
I'm saying, like, just don't go on Amazon and just start buying methylene blue. Like, don't
Yeah.
do that. But anyway, the benefits, there are so many, like, I could write a book on it.
Mm.
This is a very interesting delivery system. It is one of the very few supplements that is actually absorbed very well when
Mhm.
taken orally.
Wow.
Most of them, because they have to survive the gut, do not get absorbed well. But methylene blue is one that, whether you get it through an IV or you take it orally,
Mm.
um, it is very, very powerful for restoring mitochondrial function. We have a lot of mitochondria in our brain and on our heart and
Mhm.
other places too.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I was blown away to read about, and again, this is not medical advice, but the research is showing the profound effect it has on cognition
Mm.
for people that are trailing down that Alzheimer's road or dementia. Like
Yeah.
a 70%, and I can't quote the exact study on but there's a number of them out there.
Mhm.
70% increase in cognition ability with people that have, those dementia-like symptoms. That's pretty profound.
That's yeah, that's incredible. And so how can people like, if they wanna use this, how can they go about getting it?
So you can reach out to me. I am an affiliate partner with the company that I work with. I've actually met with personally the owner of the company, the doctor who helped to formulate the product. So I've
Yeah.
done a lot of research on it.
Mhm.
Or if you're working with a functional medicine practitioner, physician, chiropractor, anybody that's in functional medicine, likely they are familiar with methylene blue. These are actually little, they call them, what do they call them? A trochee. I always say the word wrong. It's a little trochee, and
Oh,
you probably aren't going to be able to see it through my computer, but they look
yeah.
like little tiny blue squares, like really small
Okay.
blue squares of
Mhm.
almost like a hard candy. And
Okay.
you can either put it in your cheek and let it
Mhm.
absorb, but then it will turn your mouth blue.
Okay.
Or, and that's like an instant, if you want the instant effects. And I will
Mhm.
tell you, it has improved my energy. And again, my
Mm.
poor little my mitochondria, because of the mold, have been suffering a lot lately.
Yeah.
So they're happy that I found some methylene blue for them. And it is really starting to make an enormous difference. I'm still playing with the dosing a little bit, but
Okay.
it really is important to work with somebody. So I'm
Okay.
excited about this
Yeah. That
as
sounds
I
interesting.
know for
Yeah.
so many people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's methylene blue. That's been my, most recent little, I mean, we could do an entire episode on just methylene blue. So I'll just
Yeah.
leave it right there for right now. But if you're struggling with energy or cognition or, even just a lot of inflammation, it's
Yeah.
very powerful, especially when you
Mhm.
combine it with red light therapy or sauna therapy, or even
Yes.
just going out into the sun, because the infrared heat actually activates the mitochondria along with the methylene blue. So it's like a 1-2 punch. It's really amazing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Ah,
And
okay.
so,
Go ahead.
um, speaking of cognitive health, I think that's one thing that a lot of people forget about, or like we're so busy like working on our physical health that we forget about the cognitive piece. And I actually use an app on my phone. It's called Lumosity. There's
Okay.
a free version, and, it reminds you, it sends you notification every day that it's time to play these games, and you
I
go on,
love
and
it.
it's fun, and you go on there for a few minutes, and you play these games, and without even knowing that it's actually, like, creating new neurons, strengthening, the circuits in your brain and all the things. I'm not big on cognitive, like, I don't know all the things, but I do know that it's helping my memory. I do have ADHD, so it's helping with focus. I tend to scramble go here and there, and it helps with focusing a little bit better. And so long term, I think it does have an impact. Crossword puzzles are another thing that I love, absolutely love doing. And so I really believe that cognitive health, it needs to have a place because they're showing that it's just as important, and it really has an impact on your physical health.
Mm.
And like you said, it could help prevent Alzheimer's and all those mental diseases that we can get down the road, or brain diseases.
I love that.
Hmm.
And until recently, like there's not been a whole lot of conversation around mental wellness, and people think mental wellness specifically means like anxiety, depression, all of that. And yes, that's part of it, but we're talking overall brain optimization, right? So what can you do to keep your brain strong
Hmm.
and healthy, right? But the reality is, I mean, the brain can get hijacked by heavy metals, by
Mm,
toxins, by mold. I mean,
yeah.
my sinuses were so impacted, but your sinuses are the gateway, right? To that
Hmm.
frontal part of your brain. So if it's like
Yeah.
clogged up with toxins, that's why a lot of people have neurological issues from mold, right?
Yes.
And heavy metals can do the same thing. So it's knowing first step is knowing what's going on in your body, right?
Hmm.
Because we don't want to just throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks. We want
Right.
to know what are the things that we're trying to optimize. But that's a great way for anybody to optimize their brain health.
Yeah.
And like you said, Jeannie, it's free.
It's free. Yeah. So a lot of things that we're sharing, like, you don't have to go out and spend a ton of money. There's simple things that you can do at home to help to optimize your brain and your physical health.
Yes, I love it.
Mhm.
Okay, a couple other things that I'm in love with and obsessed with recently. Again, I'm very fixated on mitochondria right now. And so I have like my mitochondrial army that helps me, with things. And I was telling somebody this morning, literally the things that I have to take to recover from mold. If you ever go through it, it is honestly one of the most financially and physically devastating things because it's very expensive.
Wow.
It's expensive to deal with your house, and it's expensive to deal with all the supplements you have to take. And
Mm,
they all serve their purpose, but nonetheless, supplement fatigue is a real thing. And so I'm always looking for other ways to do things rather than popping another supplement. And
right.
so, mitochondria are very, very happy when they're exposed to changes in temperature. And
Mm,
so I do a lot of hot therapy. So I have an infrared sauna and infrared light. So just doing a sauna, yes, that's helpful, but having that infrared light is really powerful as well. So I do an infrared sauna usually about 5 days a week. I'm not perfect every day, but most recently, this is really exciting. I've taken my sauna experience to the gym, and we have a new place called Hotworks that I've been doing where you can actually do your workouts inside an infrared sauna. And
Wow.
so that
That's
can be
incredible.
really helpful for people that struggle with the fatigue that I do. Now, some people can't even handle the heat yet, but I've gotten to the point in my journey where the heat is very therapeutic for me.
Mhm,
So inside of the sauna, you can do Pilates, you can do yoga, you can do a multitude of classes, but also hot cycling, hot rowing machines.
mm.
There's a couple other things as well too. But it's
Wow.
in an infrared sauna at about 127 degrees or so. What's
Yeah.
really interesting is they were talking about the effect that it has on detoxification, which obviously when you're not toxic you have a longer lifespan, right? So
Mhm.
toxicity is a huge component in this, and doing everything that I can possibly do to detox my body. This was another way. Sweat,
Mhm.
right? So our skin is our largest organ, and we are sweating out a lot of toxins, right? So one of our
Mhm.
drainage pathways. But so I use this, workout facility, and 15 minutes on a hot cycle, as an example, is equivalent in the calorie burn of running on the treadmill for an hour.
I believe
I'm
it.
like, "Sign me up, 15 minutes, I can do anything for 15 minutes," right? So,
Yes. Yeah.
I look at that as a way to biohack my exercise routine, because truth be told, more isn't always better, and you know this as an exercise
Right.
physiologist, right? But we tend to go, "Oh, I gotta squat heavier, I gotta lift more, I gotta la, 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 more," right?
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, no, you're going to do less, but you're really gonna optimize your health
Yeah.
while you're doing this. And so I'm
Yes.
just geeking out over that too right now.
Mhm. Yeah, and even with, like, if you don't have access to, a hot works or, doing hot workouts, even just doing the workouts at home, if you put more focus into connecting your brain to the actual exercise, like really focusing in on that muscle, you can probably get your workout done in like 15 minutes, literally.
Mhm.
Like, but you really have to put in the work. And what happens is that a lot of people get into working out and they're like doing, chest press, and they're not really putting the focus into it. And so now they have to do 3 and 4 sets, and they're like standing around in between. And it
4
becomes like
hours
an
in the
hour or
gym.
two. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, you can make it very effective and shorter, but you gotta put in the work, and really it's that brain body connection or brain muscle connection that's really
Mm,
more important.
so good. I
Yeah.
love that because, I am a former fitness competitor and a CrossFitter. And I mean, what I loved about CrossFit is it took all of the, like, I used to spend hours in the gym every day when I was, gotta lift, gotta do the
Mhm.
cardio, twice a day cardio, all that. So,
Yeah.
like, at one point, I'd exercise like 4 hours a day. And I mean, I don't have time for that now, nor
Mhm.
does my body wanna even deal with that now. Then I got to CrossFit and I realized, "Oh, we're gonna knock this all out." Some of these workouts are only like 7 minutes long, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But the difference being is it's like balls to the wall while you're there, but that creates a lot of stress on the body, a lot
It
of
is.
physical stress. So,
Yeah.
will I ever go back to CrossFit? I don't know. But I do believe that there's some really good things that can come out of CrossFit if you learn to pace yourself with it. If you're competitive like I am, it's a really tough thing to do in
Yeah.
pacing yourself. But I'm loving the sauna stuff. So, well, thanks for the tips on the exercise. That's so powerful. What
Yeah.
else? I know you're doing some other great stuff in your house too.
So, yeah, so one of the other thing I do is, I use the sound bowl, and, so there is and any of you out there that are really like in tune with vibration and frequency, this helps with the vibrational aspect, through your body. And there's also frequency waves. So if you play like it's called solfeggio frequencies. Solfeggio frequencies or sounds are there's like nine, I think it's 9 levels of waves. And it's like 564, 9, whatever. And each one has a different meaning. So one could be for connecting with your higher self. Another one could be with, decreasing stress. Another one could be about healing the cells. And so these vibrational sounds, along with this sound bowl, which I use, not every day, but I use it.
Yeah,
It
make
really
a sound
helps
for
with
us. Can you make a
sure.
sound?
Yeah. So I learned how to do this. This bowl was made in Nepal, by the way.
That's so cool. So I heard it in the beginning and then it like dissipated.
So
Is that
okay, so I'm gonna play it for you. And if you sit still and concentrate, you'll actually feel it through the camera. You feel the vibrations. Ready?
so cool? It looks like you're like making a witch's brew or something.
And in Nepal, they have bigger bowls that you put over your head, and they will actually they will bang on it with another tool, and it makes loud noise, and it's supposed to help with that frequency through your body and to kind of like balance your cells and your health and all the things. So
Mhm.
it really is very it works. It really does. I also I do this like before meditating, sometimes after meditating. It's just a way to kind of center yourself a little bit, and you feel. And they actually have classes. Like you can go to a sound, what is it called? Like a sound room or
Mm,
whatever, and they'll play like bigger bowls like this, or they'll have like larger pieces of tool equipment, and they'll just bang on it, and you feel the vibration while you're meditating, and it really helps to go deeper into meditation.
that's so interesting. I need to get one of
Mm.
those. You'll have to send me info on that.
Yes, this one specifically, I got it from a shop where they sell everything is sold from the actual country that it was created.
Ah,
So it's really cool. It's a local shop, but this was made in Nepal, and I just had to get it, and then they showed me how to
oh,
use it.
so cool. Well, thank you
Yes,
for
yes,
sharing
and
that.
again, it's all about decreasing your stress and really feeling centered and having more clarity through the day and having energy. That really helps with longevity.
Yeah, it makes me think of in the yoga studio I used to go to at the end of yoga, they would
Mm,
always hit this gong. I
yes.
called it a gong. I don't know. It probably has, but it looked like a gong, right?
It's similar,
But it,
yes.
yeah, it had that same effect, and it was
Mhm,
always like very calming. And
mhm,
you know, there's a lot to be said in dealing with mold illness. One of the things that happens is your nervous system gets a little dysregulated. And
mhm,
so you startle easily, you are very sensitized to things,
mhm,
and you essentially very easily get stuck in the fight or flight. So you have issues with the limbic system of the brain and
mhm.
also the vagus nerve. So there's a lot of like somatic exercises and
Yeah, oh,
brain rewiring that we do.
yeah.
I mean, brain tap. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do to rewire your brain, but that all
Mhm,
goes along with that neuroplasticity and keeping your brain sharp and functioning
mhm.
for as long as you possibly can, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we
absolutely.
could nerd on that all day long. All right,
Yes.
so a couple other really quick things. First of all, we've talked about this before, and I know you have them in your glasses, but at night I use these like blue light blocking. They're actually amber glasses. You can put them over glasses or just
Mhm,
wear them if you wear contacts, but it helps to prepare your body to produce more melatonin. Because when you're exposed to bright light,
yeah.
when you're watching TV or whatever, your lights are on in the house,
Mm.
in the evening, your body thinks it's waking time, right? So you could easily be up till 2 a.m. doing these things.
Mhm,
So I use these to biohack my ability to reset my circadian rhythm so
mhm.
that I know when it's time to sleep and time to wake. So these have been, I mean, again, you can buy these things on Amazon, but they're blue light blocking glasses. They're actually stronger than your typical like blue light lenses that I think you have in your glasses. These
Yeah.
actually, the amber takes things to a whole nother level. So
Oh,
these are
okay.
really awesome
Yeah.
little trick. And then we can't leave this live without talking about biohacking your skin, right? Because
Right.
all of this stuff we're talking about is age
Yeah.
reversal
Mhm,
and doing it without like, for the example of skin, women run out and we get Botox and all this stuff. I have no foundation on my face today.
mhm.
None. I have I've been using a sunless tanner, but a tinted sunscreen and some bronzing drops
Yeah.
and some lipstick and some, what is that? Mascara. That's stuff you put on your eyes. Mascara. I'm not like a huge makeup person, but
Me
my
neither.
goal was to get my skin looking good enough so makeup is
Mhm.
optional, right? And
Yes.
especially in the summer months. And so
Mhm.
using this liquid BioCell collagen, hyaluronic acid, and chondroitin sulfate has made an enormous difference. And it's
Mhm.
about to go next level
Yeah.
starting on the 29th. Like
So excited.
the claims that we can make with this product are legit. It is not another collagen supplement. Like
Right.
they're a dime a dozen. It is a clinical grade,
Mhm.
age reversal, bioidentical product to what our bodies produce naturally, collagen, hyaluronic acid, and chondroitin sulfate when we were a lot younger. So
Right.
I'm really excited about this
Yeah,
coming
me too.
next week. Like I'm like a kid in a candy store because the original is pretty amazing. The
Mhm.
new one, next level off the charts. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. about it.
I
So
mean, so even
biohacking your skin.
yeah, because I mean, even if you're using skincare, that's like on the outside. This is deep. This is like replenishing your collagen that you're losing,
Mhm.
or your body's not making enough of. And can you imagine, like, collagen is part of the aging process, and if you're replacing that, how fabulous would that be?
Here's the most interesting part. People often ask me, not to rabbit trail on collagen for a second, but I think this is important to understand.
Mhm,
What's the difference between this product and like all the 50 million other ones out there? So, one of the very unique features amongst the fact that it's been studied clinically in 37 trials,
mm,
has 7 international patents, is bioidentical to our own human body. So, when you try to pour fish collagen into the body, marine collagen or bovine, any of these things, our body doesn't recognize it as its own.
mhm,
This is as close to what human articular cartilage produces naturally on its own, which is why it is bioidentical. It helps to biooptimize not only your current like skin, hair, nails, etc. But here's the really unique feature. If you remember nothing else, this product actually teaches your body how to produce more collagen, hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate on its own.
that's wild.
That is mind blowing. I'm like, wait, what? So it's
Yeah,
like, again, I felt very compelled to throw it in with biohacking because you're biohacking your skin and your joints
mhm,
and your gut health and your soft tissue health, your eyes, like everything, hair, nails, all of it, right?
yep, yep,
Definitely an
totally
honorable
agree.
mention there. Anything else? I know we've been on here for 30 minutes, but this is a big topic, obviously, and I think it's just fascinating. So,
Yeah, I would just say, start slow. You can start with things at home and build from there. I mean, the list goes on and on about all the things you can do. Find what works for you and what you can fit into your lifestyle.
yeah, and the one thing I should mention because I started talking about temperature variation and how that's good for
Mhm.
mitochondria. So hot, but also cold, right? And
Yeah.
if you're really brave, going from hot to cold.
Mm.
So, and to start slow, most of us are used to taking hot showers. At
Yeah.
the end of your shower, turn your shower to cold for, 30 seconds, right? Just start slow. You don't have to go out and buy a cold plunge tomorrow, but there's many ways to do it, but the exposing your body to temperature shifts is really a healthy thing to do, especially if you take some methylene blue first for your mitochondrial health. And your health is all about reducing inflammation, reducing toxicity, and keeping your mitochondria happy. You do all that, you're going to live a long, healthy life. Well,
Right.
this was a lot of fun. If you guys found value in this, we are live in a lot of places that are public. You can go ahead and share this broadcast. If we can help you with any of the things that we talked about today, just reach out to Jeannie or myself, and we'd be happy to get you some information on any of the things that we covered today. So, well, we'll be back with you next Wednesday for Winning Wednesday. So, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Jeannie. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye.